We have Hai here from Eva.Guru, who is the founder of Eva Guru is a repricing software that use artificial intelligence, dynamic repricing. So hi, welcome. Thanks for talking to me. I'll reach out to you like not too long ago. I thought your product was pretty nice, especially the UI interface kind of captured me. So my question is to you, how did you come up with this idea? How did you come up with this problem? And what makes you decide to solve this problem?
Thanks, Rick, for having me, and I really appreciate the time. So, I mean, I'm selling on Amazon for the last decade with my partner Barry, and we were focusing on different parts of Amazon. Me more on the private labels, and himself on the resellers. And at some point, like we thought, like, what can we do more better for to sell more, to sell faster, and also to make more profits. And we came with the idea of Eva, that's you see.
Right. Yeah.
And we are both computer engineers, and now we built a team like 2 years ago. The idea of Eva is a profit velocity platform. And what we mean by profit velocity, it reprices, restocks, and shows us the profits, where our costs are on our Amazon business. So the key point of that is absolutely the dynamic pricing. But in order to do that, we also know when to replenish, what's our inventory, and how our costs, distributed on the Amazon platform.
So basically, it's not just taking data on like the sales or the price, but it's also like the full cycle as well, the inventory management, how much you have in stock. And also, I also read on the landing page that you can also take information from your potential competitors as well.
Well, I mean, obviously, we are also connected to Amazon APIs, and we get a lot of information from Amazon. But at the same time, we have third-party connections, and we are collecting information for years. So as a result, we have like at least 15 million products, and how these products are behaving in the last maybe 12 months at least. And that type of information, if you kind of put that into AI, the AI models are filling the gaps by using several algorithms like regression and all that stuff. So we have a lot of data, but on top of that, we can estimate, like we can forecast, we can predict data, and some of the analysis is done in that way.
Would it be more advantageous for, like more of the more experienced sellers to use your product versus new sellers? This way, Ava can gather more data.
I mean, we love both type of sellers. I mean, the advanced sellers, like for example, we have sellers who are making millions of dollars a month or having like 500,000 SKUs.
Right.
Obviously, those sellers help us more with the data. But at the same time, we have a mission to help the newcomers to Amazon. And I think it's extremely important, to help the small businesses or individuals who need to sell. So what we did is like we kind of like we help them a lot, and the way we help them is it's absolutely very simple to use our platform, number one. And number two is for the new sellers, it's very cost efficient. It actually starts below $10, and that really helps the newcomers to start using a huge AI platform without even thinking what is behind the whole decision-making process. I am in the enterprise software business and then SaaS business for the last 20 years. And my experience is you need to show the value before even any type of pricing discussion to start. So we believe that Eva instantly delivers 8 to 32% profits increase And that is the kind of the value that is very obvious to the sellers, whether they are resellers or private labels, whether they are using any type of repricing software. We have seen a great shift on the profits just because the whole EVA is AI based. Now, in terms of EVA pricing, because that's kind of the value, we think that the value is like generating more revenue and more profits. We kind of bind the pricing to the revenue. It starts from $9, and you know, the more the Amazon seller revenues increase, EVA price increase maybe up to $500. Like if the seller is making more than $500,000 a month, then the price of EVA goes to $500.
Right. So basically, it's pricing based on how much you sell on Amazon, their top line revenue.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay.
It's not a percentage of that. It's just a tiny fraction of that. And compared to the value, obviously, the more revenues the sellers have, the better value EVA generates for them.
So I guess right now we can get to a bit of a product demo. And before you start the demo, I just want to say the UI looks amazing. It's one of the best UI I've seen in terms of the Amazon software space.
Thank you very much on that. And I'll just share my screen, and I hope you can see that. So this is the EVA platform. It's our demo account. It's actually our own store. And we have both private labels. As I said, it's the only software in the market which does the private label dynamic pricing. But you know, on this demo account, we have 340 40 units, that the SKUs that are also like not private label but sold by others. So there is also competition there. So as I said, it's not just about pricing, it's about profit analytics. So we show what's the reimbursement values, sales, refunds, expenses, quantities, average sales per month for the sellers. We also show what are the expenses of the sellers, especially right now. The Amazon inventory storage fees are becoming a bit of a challenge for FBA sellers. So we want to kind of unveil like what is behind that. We also show that inventory storage fee progression month over month. One of the interesting things that we have is that sales order heat map, where the advanced sellers can use it, you know, for some shipment decisions, whether they want to do seller fulfilled prime or FBM or FBA. And the private labels can use it for advertising decisions beyond Amazon. Like, for example, this seller maybe can create a special Facebook or Google advertising for Philadelphia. So we also show the sales order heat map for US and other countries. By the way, EVA works for both US, Mexico, Canada, as well as all European markets. And we just applied for India and Japan. We also show, as I said, it's not only about pricing. We have a great focus on the FBA inventory. And we show what is available, the available units at the store level, the back-ordered units, inbound and unavailable units, but also we do the same at the SKU level as well. Then we have an operations center where we are able to, you know, kind of see here what's the daily sales, where in fact, you know, one of the things as Amazon sellers, we always want to see what's going on today. Where from Amazon seller account, you don't have that visibility, where we show what's going on today, as well as what's the refund rates for every single you know, type of SKU that we are selling. And if I want, I can just pick up another day and I can simply, you know, kind of compare 2 days with each other. This is great function for both private labels and resellers. Then if I just click to one of the items, and that's the most beautiful part of EVA that I really enjoy, I'm very passionate about, because we are the only company completely visualize the whole pricing as well as order and inventory. So on the left-hand side, you see the orders and the inventory status for this item, that the yellow line is like showing the back-ordered items, orange is the orders, and the green is the available ones. But the most exciting part of that is what's going on with the repricing, where like you see the buy box, the competitor buy box, where the competitor was winning it before, and then EVA started winning it. You see 100% buy box ownership over the last couple of hours. And it's all kind of happening visually, where you see what's going on with sales. The red guy is the customer, and the orange guy is our competitor. So that's the beauty. And for every single SKU, I'm going to just show it for another one. For every single SKU, there is a different graphic, which is kind of reconstructed on demand. And this is all an in-memory, kind of an application. I don't want to go into technical details, obviously, but here you see like the pricing changes, the competitor one, competitor two, what is your price, and who is getting the buy box all the time. So that's kind of like the beauty of EVA. And there is the same application as some totally different screens for private labels and resellers. And I'm going to go to like a private label here, where we are able to just do the private label pricing, which starts from, first of all, deciding what should be the initial price. So we get the cost and the ROI information, and based on that, we basically start, evaluating the pricing, like what should be the Amazon price. So we calculate both like the FBA fees, like referral fees, storage costs, and everything. So for example, here you see that although it's a private label based on advertising data, based on the last 24 months of sale, similar items, inventory, even the category information, health and household, and this is a protein box.
Right.
And we are able to do the whole pricing for that.
And does the whole repricing happen in how regular would the repricing work? Is it like a daily thing, or is it a reactive thing?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I mean, on the reseller side, our competitors claim they are instant, but the fastest one is pricing every 5 minutes. We do price every 80 seconds because there is no rules or configurations or algorithms working on EVA. EVA is basically completely data driven, and we use AI in memory, and that's how we are super fast. Now, fast, like the speed, is very important for resellers. On the private labels, we do it daily. We don't believe there is any need to price more than once a day. There is only one situation where if there is a hijacker on that private label listing, then EVA starts immediately acting on that hijacker, whether by reducing the price or alerting the customer. So that's also another important thing for the resellers. We are able to show the private label what's going on this month and what's going on like previous year, same month, so they can easily compare the two, and the last 30 days average sales versus the previous year last 30-day average sales, and the year-on-year sales growth. And that is kind of extremely important. If the private label is selling for more than a year, they are able to see all types of differences and what they have done last year, same time, versus this year, whether it's a lightning deal or a prime deal or another campaign or something else that they can compare as well. So that's another unique value of of Eva. This is a demo account, so it loads the
Oh,
whole
okay.
advertising right now. But what we are, like doing with the advertising is, we are not doing like an automated advertising. Like we leave it to all the other companies. There are like some great companies, or maybe you are, I don't know, like there's some others interested in automated PPC. What we show is like, we show what's the ad spend, ad sales, ACOS, all the clicks, impressions, conversion rates. This is more for the private labels, at least that we just get all the data and we use the advertising data also for our pricing decisions. One of the things that the private labels should not ignore, if the 30-40% of the cost is about Amazon and the COGS, then there is another 20-30% of the cost with advertising. So the cost of advertising should be incorporated dynamically into the price as well in some way, because the advertising cost is also dynamic. Like that's kind of one of the things that we are also trying to do with Eva.
Because sometimes when your ACOS shoots up, you don't dynamically change the pricing. So again, that's like a pretty good feature to have. Something that you don't really, change on a daily basis. Because I mean, if you do it manually, it's too much of a hassle, right? Your ACOS change from say 5% from week over week. Normally, what a private label seller would do is that they'll keep their pricing right during this week over week, and they won't really change the price based on that ACOS. So that's really a good way to change the price dynamically.
Absolutely. Another maybe important aspect of the Eva is we also check our inventory and make sure that if it's a private label or reseller, that we try to make sure that there is no stuck out happening, and how we are kind of trying to make this work is we start increasing the price because we are looking at the sales velocity, and if the sales velocity is below a threshold that our AI tells us specifically for every single SKU, which can be different, then based on that, we start gradually increasing the price. That helps maybe reducing the sales velocity a bit and prolonging the time for a stock out. As soon as we see something coming from the inbound that either from a third-party logistic provider of the private label or directly from the manufacturer, we immediately switch on the kind of the current, like the normal pricing rather than, kind of inventory risk pricing. We have seen that it helps with keyword rankings. It helps with BSR, because especially now in 2021, like listing rankings and BSR ranking, these are all important. And if the item is out of stock, then immediately you start losing like
Right.
in light speed, the whole ranking that you have. So we try to kind of minimize the impact of that too.
That's particularly important for private label sellers. A lot of new private label sellers don't understand that a key part of being successful, in private label FBA is basically being in stock.
Right.
So I liken to like kind of like a marathon runner that stops in the middle. That's basically what being out of stock, being an Amazon private label seller basically is. So yeah, this would definitely help kind of throttle your inventory management until you can get your inventory in and continue your growth.
Absolutely. So, like we learned a lot from the reseller world because there is a fierce competition going on with resellers. We learned a lot from that. It's like every single cent counts in the reseller world. We have like incorporated 420 different decision-making points into our algorithm. And finally, we come to a point that it works like at the utmost optimization for resellers. And we kind of started using all the experience we had and created the private label dynamic pricing. and incorporated advertising and all the other things like IPI scores, out of stock parameters, the similar items, product targeting, advertising, and such type of data, all into that private label dynamic pricing. Another always an interesting thing that private labels ask us is what should be the initial price. And as you see from this, this screen where we are able to get the product cost and target ROI, and based on that, we can, easily calculate a minimum advertising price for the private labels. The minimum advertising price also helps the brands to have a map price control for the resellers. And maybe another thing very important for private labels is the buy box suppression. Although it's a private label, at some point, due to maybe the web store price or some other Walmart price, Amazon may suppress the buy box. Because we do dynamic pricing and we check also like the store prices and all that stuff, in case we see that there is an Amazon fair price policy and based on that there is a buy box suppression, we immediately change the price. Because having the buy box on Amazon, even if you are a single offer seller, is extremely important. Like because it's one click versus 3-4 clicks. If there is no buy box, the sales goes down like 30 to 50%.
Okay, so thanks a lot for the demo. Before we end things, what trial do you offer for potential users?
Yeah, that's a great question. So it's extremely easy to sign up for EVA if the the watchers are like any users, if they kind of go to the eva.guru, they sign up. It takes 3 minutes. It takes another 4 hours to 6 hours to download the data, and then they can use the software free for 15 days. And as soon as they sign up, we have our customer success team always ready, and we support 24/7. We have people in pretty much every time zone. And I mean, that's kind of very important for us to have the customer service, and we make sure during this 15 days, they see a significant profit increase, whether they are a private label seller or reseller.
All right, thanks a lot, Hai. I think that's a very comprehensive demo of eva.guru.